Assemblage 23 is an electro-industrial band and one of the more melodic electro-industrial bands, sort of like V&V Nation. In industrial, it's not too common that you find somebody who actually has a really good singing voice, and when an industrial band does have a good singer, they like to show that off. And there is some fantastic singing on this album, and fantastic songs. Despite the typical sounding industrial post-apocalyptic drum samples and synths, this album has some pretty upbeat songs. This band isn't quite as dark as what you would hear from, say, V&V Nation or some other industrial bands. This is what makes Assemblage 23 more than just an American V&V Nation. I suspect that one band probably did influence the sound of the other, but it seems as though Assemblage 23 has a bit of Human League mixed in. This band has a little bit more of a pop music sensibility. This is especially true of the songs Crosstalk, Over and Out, and The Noise Inside My Head. Also, I love the vocal effects on the song Automation that makes Tom Shear's voice sound like a speak and spell. Bruise is the band's 7th album, but I must confess that I've never listened to any of the earlier ones, and that's a shame because I find I quite enjoy them. Their sound, at least on this album, has a very sort of 90s industrial feel to it. Not many industrial bands have managed to hang on to that with the fidelity that this band seems to have done. Some people seem to feel that this means that they've run out of ideas, and I suppose it's possible that that's the case and I'm just not hearing it because I'm not familiar with their older stuff. However, I often appreciate bands that can reproduce that 90s sound with the fidelity that this band does without coming across as lazy. It makes me feel like the spirit of the 90s is still there and it's accessible even 14 years later. If you are a fan of V&V Nation, I suspect that you probably will like these guys. You might find them to be a bit of a knockoff, but some of their more upbeat songs like Crosstalk will differentiate them enough that you should be able to appreciate them on their own merits. I would definitely recommend this album for its nostalgic appeal, and of course because the singing is really quite good.